Hi, my name is Trautman, and this is my first vlog of my trip to Eastern Europe. We are studying cultural trauma, communication, and the camera in Lithuania, Poland, and Germany. Our first stop in Lithuania of the trip was to the KGB Prison and the Museum of Genocide Victims in Vilnius. We took a self-guided tour. We were able to walk around the 2 floors of exhibits and then the prison in the basement. We learned a lot about Soviet and German occupation throughout World War II and the Russian Revolution after that. Also about the freedom fighters and the resistance that was there during that time and what life was like for people here in Lithuania throughout that time. I thought the museum did a really good job. I thought the exhibit was set up well, and I thought all their details and the notes were very beneficial for the visitors. It did kind of make me, I felt like I better understood what it was truly like there, and I appreciate that. When I think about the Holocaust and stories that I maybe heard from the past coming into the trip, I had taken a religion class that the prior semester with Dr. Har at Augie, and it was on religion, Christianity specifically, and the Holocaust. And Dr. Har gave a lot of stories about his parents who were survivors, growing up as the generation of, or children of victims and survivors. And he talked a lot about how his parents didn't really discuss much at all. He didn't know much about their time in the Holocaust or what was life like until later in his life, and even a little bit after his parents had passed away. But he did discuss how they weren't open, and I don't think that he made it seem like they just really didn't want to place that on their children or anybody for that matter. I think they were a little bit uncomfortable, and they probably didn't want to put that fear into that next generation, and they didn't want it to be too much. It's tough to talk about. It's traumatic, and I don't think anyone wants to place that onto someone else. But and like he said in class, that we need to try to understand this better. And that's what I'm here for, but that's what anyone who studies it is hoping to do too. And so as much as it's tough to talk about, it's needed. And so I really appreciated and related to Hirsch's article that we have due for the 9th, and it talked about post-memory, which is the response from the second generation to the trauma of the first. So it deals with repetition and how how it does not desensitize or shield us from the trauma that I think first generation people think it might if they pick out certain things or certain things are repeated. But really we still feel our own trauma too. It's a little bit different, but we still do feel it. It's a vehicle for us to understand what truly happened, and it produces that trauma for us. And that's what my goal has always been when studying, is that I want to understand the events, the truth, and the trauma so that I can better understand, continue to educate, to make sure that this can never happen again to anyone else. But it's also retrospective writing, which Hirsch talked about, by retrospective writing by adoption, of where you adopt a traumatic experience and put it kind of into your own life. It's more of like an ethical relation. And I found that to be best for me because I truly can't relate to what happened to a full extent, and I don't have any close relatives that have gone through that to get the full story, but this is a way that I can, and a way that I can eliminate the distance between myself and seeing that the survivors or victims as others, and it eliminates that distance, and it seems more as one. And it's a way that I can try to better understand and grasp the events that happened. Dr. Har always said in his class how we can read and look at all these pictures and read these poems and try to understand all of it and get really close to the topic. But he says we truly never really will, because we weren't there. And survivors will try to tell their story. He would say, this is the closest book I've ever come to understanding what it's truly like. I think it gets us the closest of all the evil and the trauma and the hurt. But he said, but truly it isn't, because it's so hard to discuss for a victim to bring back up again, and to not physically be there. We can never get that close, but we can always try. And that's what I've always wanted to do. That's why I'm here, to continue to try, to continue to learn as a second generation, so that I can continue to pass it on to generations in the future. And so I'm hoping to continue the concept of post-memory, and in our future visits and sites to museums, our future readings, and to continue that relational bond, so I can be more open, I can be more empathetic, I can be more understanding to everything that's surrounding me. So this is my first vlog. I'm excited to continue this trip and continue vlogging and thinking about everything that's going on. So I'll see you next time.